In this video, I will discuss some of the present and future challenges that society will face in the light of further developments in AI and automation. But let me start out with what it is to know something and what it means for us as individuals. As a father of two sons, I've had first-hand experience of this incredible confidence that children sometimes exhibit and their instinctive drive to learn and master new things. It's a wonderful experience to be part of as a parent. This sense of autonomy that arises from learning. It's both empowering and very important for who we eventually become as adult human beings. As a species, however, we have grown into a complicated relationship with technology when it comes to what we can do as individuals. I would like to point to some of these complications, especially as we extrapolate from history and our current situation to look into the future. I will provide two illustrations, both highlighting a different aspect of this relationship that we might want to contemplate and discuss further. I will use the rubrics of delegation and of superpowers for these themes. In relation to the topic of delegation, let's look at a very simple example. I admit that most situations are more complicated, but it will serve the purpose of illustration. If you intend to become a black cab driver in the City of London, you first have to pass the test, which is called the knowledge. This is actually a series of tests, but in the process, black cabbies must study some 320 routes and 25,000 streets and get to know them all by heart. They also memorize roughly 20,000 landmarks and places of public interest, from tourist destinations to museums, parks, churches, theaters, and schools. The process typically takes between 2 and 4 years to complete, and it has been described as like having an atlas of London implanted into your brain. One could say that these licensed cab drivers, they really know London. Now enter the company Uber. With the technological innovation of satellite navigation and a centralized platform for connecting drivers with customers, we suddenly have a very different situation. We now have a group of drivers who may be just as skilled in handling a car on the streets, but they don't have to know very much about the City of London to do the job. Many of the cognitive tasks are now taken care of by the technology. This transformation represents one form of delegation where the operator, here the driver, carries out the overall task in cooperation with the technical platform. Now, we might think that memorizing all streets in London is a waste of human capacity, and perhaps so. But what is the optimal amount of knowledge one should have here? Another context. This is an image of myself in Tokyo using a simulator to learn about liver resection. Now, I'm not a surgeon, but with basic training like this, and added some dexterity tests, would you allow me to operate on you with the aid of an app that always showed me where to go next? Perhaps something that uses augmented reality to highlight relevant structures and the actions that I need to perform. Or would you hesitate in view of such a prospect? So maybe cab drivers don't need to know their city, but surgeons, they should know the anatomical details by heart. My second illustration points in a different direction. With technologies, we can also become equipped with superpowers. We can elevate ourselves and become more than what we are. Sigmund Freud once wrote, "Man has, as it were, become a kind of prosthetic god. When he puts on all his auxiliary organs, he is truly magnificent." In this quote, Freud was talking about the technologies we surround ourselves with. And in the 90 years since its publication, we have not only started to include women in our society, we have also vastly expanded this realm of technical auxiliary organs. There is this ancient metaphor of a dwarf standing on the shoulder of a giant. It expressed the idea that we are able to take advantage of the intellectual labors of our predecessors. The same metaphor can also be used to depict our relation with technical systems and instruments. By standing on the shoulder of these technical titans, we can see more. This brings me to radiology. I work with thoracic radiologists, and with the help of ionizing radiation, they have this superpower of being able to see the inside of our lungs. But not only that, with this aid, they have also learned to spot things that mere mortals like you and I cannot discern. Sometimes technology undergoes these major improvements, and here we have the same lung depicted by a different imaging modality. With this one, even you and I can begin to pick out the lung nodules that are potential precursors of cancer. So with this technological leap, the metaphorical giant grows a bit taller, and we as users can see even further. The next step in this development is of course artificial intelligence. With convolutional neural networks, we get computer-aided diagnosis, where the computer automatically flags potential structures that need further attention. With such a system, the role of the radiologist will change. In relation to learning and technology, I see plenty of opportunities as well as difficulties in the years ahead. The question is how well prepared we are as a society to take on these challenges. First, our educational system was not built to accommodate this situation of a quickly moving target. And I would say that we don't really know how to best educate for it. Many are arguing that we should no longer teach basic facts in schools, since such things can be accessed with technology. The problem here is that all research and expertise shows that in order to be an expert on anything, you really need a very broad base to stand on. Years of experience is what affords one the ability to pass sound professional judgment. Second, working life has been constructed on the idea of stable jobs. Today we often hear the phrase of lifelong learning, and I do think that many of the new jobs will require more of a continual updating of our skills. But then we need financial models that can support this core idea. If our system for taxation largely hinges on this notion of income tax based on labor, can we continue to expand the part of our life where we are in education? The societal responses to previous industrial revolutions have been to institutionalize and prolong formal education. This has been a go-to solution for the past 100 years. As a consequence, it today takes about 25 years of formal education to become a medical specialist. But should this be extended even further? And is the general model still viable? These are burning issues facing the knowledge society. In this societal transition period, I am dead certain that many new jobs will be created. The crucial question, though, is what the distribution between jobs of different skill levels will look like. There is talk of a current bifurcation of the job market where mid-level jobs are gradually eroded. On the one side, there is a global lack of talent in the sectors dealing with automation, analytics, and artificial intelligence. So this means that there are ample opportunities to make a living there if you are skilled in these matters. But on the other hand, the largest sector currently on the rise are low-quality jobs which haven't been automated just yet. This graph only gives one metric. It shows the distribution of computer skills across different countries, but we can use it as a proxy to make a crude prediction. I believe that AI will impact much of what happens in this section. Jobs that are already done on and through computers today are in the sweet spot of AI automation. This is because A, they already produce the necessary training data, and B, the execution of tasks in a digital medium don't necessitate any advanced robotics. So here is where I want to end. We must be careful so that we don't let technology introduce a new rift in society, one where only a few can manage to stay on par with the intellectual developments required and who can thereby rise to the top, and where the masses are left behind to execute menial tasks under the strict control of some digital platform. For the benefit of generations growing up, we must articulate a clear vision of what role technology should play. We should ensure that today's children learn to work with and not for the technology.